Where you see wrong or inequality or injustice, speak out, because this is your country. This is your democracy. Make it, protect it, pass it on. Do you know who this was said by? Well, today we will be talking about Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American justice on the Supreme Court. Thurgood Marshall was born in Baltimore in 1908. His father was a waiter at an all-white country club. His mother was a teacher in an all-black school. Marshall's parents taught him to respect all people, and they taught him to defend himself against anyone who treated him badly. Marshall's father also taught him how to argue. The two of them could debate anything. Marshall's father taught him how to win an argument using logic and facts to prove his point. His father also took him to see courtroom trials taking place, but it was not until Marshall was in his 20s that his training took hold. After high school, Marshall went to Lincoln University in Oxford, Pennsylvania. His mother hoped he would become a dentist. After failing biology, he decided science was not for him. What Marshall was really good at was debating. He decided to become a lawyer. He applied to the University of Maryland School of Law, but he was turned down because of his race. So, Marshall went to Howard University, a black university. He graduated with honors in 1933. While in school, he became close friends with Charles Hamilton Houston, one of his professors. Houston later left the university to work for the NAACP, or the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. He hired Thurgood Marshall as an NAACP lawyer. In 1933, the NAACP had an important case. A young black man wanted to attend the University of Maryland School of Law, but he had been turned down, just as Marshall had been a few years earlier. Marshall and Houston fought the case in court. They argued that segregation was against the moral creed that America was founded upon. They won the case. In 1938, Thurgood Marshall had become the head of NAACP's Legal Defense Fund. For the next 23 years, he fought many cases of segregation. In all, Marshall argued 32 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court, and he won 29 of them. Thurgood Marshall had won his most important case in 1954, and the name of this case was Brown v. Board of Education. This case had to do with the segregation of children in public schools. In Topeka, Kansas, a court had ruled that a 7-year-old black girl named Linda Brown could not attend a white school near her home. Instead, she had to cross dangerous railroad tracks, then catch a bus to get to the colored school across town. Linda's parents had sued the Topeka Board of Education and lost. So the United States Supreme Court agreed to hear an appealing of this ruling. Thurgood Marshall was the lawyer for Linda Brown. For 3 days, he'd argued the case before the Supreme Court. It took the court a whole year to make a decision. Finally, they ruled that segregating schools were against the law. This important decision opened the door for African Americans to get better educations. Of course, some states, especially in the South, did not want to obey the court. Thurgood Marshall led a fight to make all of the states and their schools obey. President Kennedy appointed Marshall to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in 1961. He was the first African American to hold this job. And in 1965, President Johnson appointed Marshall Solicitor General. This meant he could represent the U.S. in cases being heard by the Supreme Court. Then on June 13, 1967, President Johnson nominated Thurgood Marshall to be a justice on the Supreme Court. The United States Senate confirmed him on August 30th. Thurgood Marshall served on the Supreme Court for 24 years, which he retired in 1931. He passed away 2 years later in 1993. Across the country, flags were flown at half-staff, and his body lay in state inside the Supreme Court chambers. All his life, Thurgood Marshall worked to achieve justice for all. He was against the death penalty, and he championed women's rights. Thurgood Marshall championed the rights to all Americans. And remember, here is a door to our past, but this is only a window for our future.